are going to chit chat. Do you think you and humanity can use your brain or not? So do you think you're smart or stupid? Let's find out, shall we? Okay, so it's been a long journey for me to actually just know, of course I can use my brain. What are you talking about? Hello? But I see online, as I was sharing in our short, a lot of different people, academics particularly, when they say, like this journalist, that she thinks humanity or people, I don't know who, overestimate the ability to use a brain. Now, see, the thing is, I'm not a genius. I am a mystic. Enlightenment soul age group, woo lady here. Pseudoscience as well. And that's exactly why I'm like, okay, if I can do it, I'm pretty sure anybody else can do it. And the thing is, the people on Elsa's journey, yes, it's all basically, I love learning about attachment and trauma. So I'm going to be sharing a different angle, and we're going to have another episode later. But first, let me use lovely Sadhguru. I love him. Making assumptions about something that you do not know is a sure way to remain ignorant. It would seem that most people think humans cannot use their brain. Yes, like the whole pulling of the emotional strings. So, the fact is, we didn't have an in-depth analysis with attachment and trauma like we do now. I'm educated. I love learning. The thing is, I love being me and a human. So, it's hard when you never lose hope. Oh, I didn't have any hope. I am a human. So I'm not ignorant to what our brain can do. And what's beautiful about learning about the brain. Thank you so much, Daniel Siegel. I love that man. And technology. It gave people eyes. Or Stephen Porges, Bezel van der Kolk. Let's talk about this, shall we? Here we go. Bezel van der Kolk. When you are traumatized, abused, neglected, you start developing heartache and gut wrench as it gets expressed somewhere in the midline of your body. That's where trauma is experienced. So when you learn about Jesus and human suffering and about God and about this word evil, like I said, there's a very nice scale. Michael Stone is the name. He's a forensic criminologist, and he is interviewed by Well or Big Thing for something about evil. And thank goodness, again, the smart academics do know that there's not inherently good or evil because, neuroscience, neurobiology, the reality is only the people who are following ancient scripture and saying yoga brings demons out of you or that mysticism is dangerous or something like that. So people who are uneducated, there's plenty of them. They're not even going to bother with this. I mean, really. And I'm not going to necessarily go there because, let me read it again. When you're traumatized, abused, neglected, you start developing heartache and gut wrench as it gets expressed somewhere in the midline of your body. And shall I go on? Oh, wait. First, I need to... Thank you, Patrick Tiahan. A child who knows too much about the parents' world spends no real time in their own. So a lot of parents, I'm not a parent, but a child-centric environment involves not involving your kids as if they're adults. So I got lucky. This is what I wanted to say. I'm not smart. No, I'm not a genius, but I got lucky. I got lucky with two things. I'm a twin, and I have a mom who's very child-centric. And, my own embodied brain. So I was differentiated already at the age of 3. Thank you, Daniel Siegel, telling my mom, you cannot spank me. She allowed all my little emotions to come out. I'm highly sensitive. You don't see me, in fact, I'm an anointed person because I'm a mystic. Oh no, which instead I've found many people. So one, popularity trends. Yeah, they're all on Elsa's journey. You got a bunch of superheroes fighting supervillains, and the ones who want to be supervillains, well, they're basically all Pinocchio when he gets off the island with the ears and the tail. So that there are people who do not use their brain, yes, but see evil, the scale, they all need a good therapist. But what we also have is what is I call evil ignorance. And, I do love using my brain. So why did I get lucky? I got lucky because with a securely attached body like this, I got a 3-year-old. She never did anything remotely wrong to where I was like, oh no, I should be ashamed of myself. Actually, yes, the only one shame was when I was casting stones because the grown-ups taught me to say good and bad. And I remember like, Jesus told me not to cast stones. I'm imperfect and flawed. Why am I casting a stone? Oh yes, we also know compersion, the ones of us who have healthy self-worth. So what I present to you today with this, it's a random share, is let me go to corn, because see, corn is important. Corn represents the mother of sustenance and tangible abundance. This symbol represents material prosperity in the world, a form that provides stability and sustenance to many. There is more than enough. Yes, sure. But before you can know how to share 3-year-olds, right? Okay, there we go. So what do we got? We got people who don't do emotional lifting. Oh no, with their minds, all I got to hear as a teenager is humans suck, men suck, boys suck, girls suck, everything sucks. It's so hard. Life's so hard. Okay, so as I said though, trauma. Okay, so I don't have trauma charges because I got to be sensitive as a child. Thank you, Mom. I got to also share a room and a lot more, and I got to be taught of how to use my tongue. So here's what happens when you have integration of the brain. Oh, and when you're not ignorant about being human. So since I support people to be their self, as I began IHP, inner growth, the mindset, mindset is everything. As you will find out, the stuff that comes up, if you don't choose bilateral integration, or let me just say, if you remain uneducated about getting good therapy, or wait a minute, I think there's a lot of people who think they're saviors, spiritual bypassers, but also other groups of people who are in fact spreading rumors how to get underneath the skin of a narcissist. When I saw that video, I'm like, wow, really? That should not be there. And yet they're using their credentials. Or again, yoga brings demons out of your body. Nobody apparently knows, except for those of us who do, about Patrick McNamara, a neuroscientist. He proves there's no demon that is in your body. But he also talks about decentralization of the self and the religious stuff. And, some people, they don't want to hear about education because it dismantles their belief system. No, nobody said you can believe whatever you want. If you're a person who has integration in the brain, you will learn how to use your brain. So the overestimating. It's not about overestimating. Are they getting the information? Because I see the trending topics and they don't seem to explain things. The only people who get into educational stuff. So here's where I will educate with entertainment, voices, stories. That way people can say integration. It's a choice to know what comes up. For some of us, it's easy. The ones who have had abuse and neglect, it's not easy for them, but that's where if they meet securely attached, differentiated self people. Okay, so when somebody wants me to call them smart, but they don't know how to access their ego self. Okay, so let's see. What was my main point today with this one? Do you think you and humanity, can you use your brain? If I explain to you how trauma works, and then I explain to you dysregulated or modulated embodied self, and then I can explain to you restorative embodiment, do you think you'll understand? I'm going to say you will, but I'm also going to say that there's a lot of people, they like to do Elsa. Maria, but I was brokenhearted and betrayed 3 million times. That's an exorbitant amount of number, but that's what it looks like anytime somebody is basically talking about humanity, men, women, because, the whole relationships. And then the part about essentially somebody talking about authority. The 7 to 14 charming. The only people they throw, in fact, the wool over are the same people who need a Patrick Tiahan. It's anyone who doesn't know how to harness their inner child, and that's because they don't have a healed inner child. Okay, so number one, nobody is actually, in my personal opinion, stupid, because they can understand if I speak to them that they may have belief systems nobody's going to dismantle. You can believe whatever you want to believe. If I explain to you how the mind works and how the 3 pillars of the mind, focus, attention, awareness, and then it's what kind intention, how it works and works your brain, I'm going to say it's like math. So if you want to tell me that math works 1 + 1 = 2, then I'm going to tell you, well, integration, the brain explanation works too. And it doesn't need to use anything related to yoga if you don't want it to. Okay, so people can use their brain. It's what are they assimilating? Who are they listening to? And really, how many people don't believe in humanity's ability and capacity to learn how to harness their 3-year-old? I believe in you because I did it, but I got lucky because I have a healthy self-worth, child-centric environment that I grew up in. And then we have Patrick Tiahan, childhood trauma survivor. He's healed and healing and a therapist online. And as he says, there's a bunch of good information online. So there's also a lot of us that will do work for free with people who want to get into being their whole healed inner child. It's not hard to use your brain, actually quite straightforward. And the ones who need extra support, well, we can work with them too, because that's what a Pacha does with Cusco's, So Pacha isn't on Elsa's journey. We actually know how to love because we have healthy self-worth, and we know how to speak to people because there's no trauma charges lingering, and we're using our higher social engagement system. So smart, it's about bilateral integration and your willingness to come on over.